Hey YouTube, coming at you from viewer submitted battles from Ethan, who submits all the time, so thank you for submitting. Steelix, Poliwrath, and Tentacruel. So I already gone over Poliwrath, saying it's one of the best in this meta. Tentacruel I think is really, really strong. I just don't have the XLs for one yet. I'm currently working on it. So I want to see it in action, but most importantly, I want to see Steelix in action. It's funny because it's still steel. It still has a lot of good things going for it with this meta, right? It's still a steel, which does well against a lot of stuff in this meta. It still has the Dragon Tail Breaking Swipe for Giratina, still has Earthquake for coverage, and still has Bulk. The problem is, once they lowered the Breaking Swipe from 100% to 50%, this thing dropped huge. It only dropped to like 60 something. It like dropped to like 300 something in the Great League, which makes sense. It only dropped like 60 to 80 in the rankings in Ultra League, which I think makes sense just given its bulk. So I want to just kind of see it in action. Double water backline, but like your backline is like a poison, so it's like that neutralizes grass. Plus, Poliwrath also has Icy Scald, so you can maneuver through that. I see a bit of a problem if you had like a, not that there's a ton of them, but like a Registeel lead. Being able to get the Focus Blast there and then like Zap Cannon for the back Pokemon is going to be a little tough, but let's see it in action here. Giratina, right? So here we go. This is kind of like what we like to see right at the bat. I'm interested to see how many times you throw a Breaking Swipe. I'll try and remember a counter here. How many times you're going to throw a Breaking Swipe versus how many times you actually get the lowering of the attack. It's supposed to be 50%. So here comes the first one. Obviously, this is a great matchup whether you get the lowering of the attack or not. So 1 for 1 there. At this point, you can just farm down, come out with energy here. So just commit to the farm down, come out with an Earthquake or multiple Breaking Swipes. In comes Swampert. I think just going multiple Breaking Swipe is the play. Hopefully you get one there. Okay, 2 for 2. Let's see if third time's a charm here. 3 for 3, right? And this is this season. You may be asking, what if is this last season? You will see on Poliwrath. Poliwrath has Icy Wind, so no, it is this season. Poliwrath has Icy Wind. You can take any move here. It's a non-shadow, so even a Blast Burn. I think with Charizard with Blast Burn, you could take it. It would still probably do like 50%, just because Blast Burn just hits so freaking hard. 1 for the Skull. Did not get the lowering of the attack. At this point, I'd be surprised if you commit 2 shields. Okay. I forget. Oh, wait, you have a Poliwrath, so the Swampert's not going to be too much of an issue. And they just give it up there. That's fine. Gengar. Gengar is spicy. It's glassy, but man, does it hit hard. They try to catch, and this is just going to be a really rough time for them. Could be an Earthquake, so you need to make a decision here. I mean, you'll live an Earthquake fine. Yeah, not even 50%. It's just such a dominating matchup for... I wasn't counting. Could this be a second one, or is this just a Rock Slide? If it's just a Rock Slide, that just means you get to farm up even more. They're probably just an Icy Wind. So I would probably say that they're in Icy Wind range because it's neutral. So I think you probably could just Icy Wind them and save a bit of energy, but it's not too much of an issue. 2319 also seems like a very under G-Fisk. So that's probably not even a fully hundo. They're just going to come in and commit to the... Probably to try and... Yeah, smart on them to throw. There's no point of taking another Icy Wind here. But now you have a poison on this. You're still half, right? You're still half water, so this will still do neutral. So you may want to shield. You don't need to. Okay. Okay. Early in the season, Shadow Ball, that hurts. But now it just 2 shielded, Breaking Swiping all the way over here, all over the place here. So there's one. Did not get the attack fall there, right? So again, I already confirmed that this is this season. Got 1 there. So what are you? 4 for 5 now? So 4 and 1. Gonna shield because the Shadow Ball probably will still hurt. Farm down. Breaking Swipe. Yeah, this game is over. Steelix into Raikou. Okay, so this is obviously just a great lead. Um, so they're not getting out. The thing is, they can still probably get at least one Shadow Ball off here, which would hurt. Yeah, it's probably worth the shield. They now go up into Virizion. Let's see if this Virizion has Stone Edge or Leaf Blade. Leaf Blade, it's an okay matchup because it still takes like 3 Leaf Blades, but these Leaf Blades come pretty quick. Here comes the second one already, right? So you're starting to get in a little trouble. Going just for the Scald. If they let it go, they can maybe get to a third. So get the attack fall. I was going to say they're going to get to a third anyways. Yeah, that would probably take you out. Committing the shield. This is still going to be close because they still might get another one off. And they commit both shields and then bank it. Interesting play. Lots of jumping around here. Hit them with the break sway. So there's an attack fall. Just go Scald, see if you can get the attack fall on them. And then just, if you can, just farm up as much as you can would be my guess. Get the attack fall. This is why these games are going to be... Everyone was complaining about like, oh, Steelix sucks, 100% chance of lowering your attack. You just like stand there. It's not strategy and everything. And now it's just like Poliwrath is just scalding and icy winding everything. You're still getting attack drops all over the place here too, right? So they're going to have to basically get to 2 moves. Wild Charge you here. Hope to have a Shadow Ball for your Steelix and then reset is what I would do. They reset immediately, but Virizian's already too low. So they can just top left here. Okay, Steelix against Ampharos. Another good lead. For a league that's not really dominated by electric, seeing 2 on the lead when you have Steelix is great. At best, it's Brutal Swing. Not going to do a ton to a Steelix. They're not getting out, which means it's early. It's still early. Whenever whenever you are before getting your ELO rating, I don't put much stock into opponent's play in your like unless you're making like a very obvious mistake. I don't put too much into. You maybe just want to go Earthquake there because if they're just not going to shield, might as well just try and grab. You might as well just try and take it out. I think that would be my only recommendation is just like once they didn't let go of the first one, try and grab a shield here. Coming in here, Wall Rain comes in and yeah, this game's over already. Yeah, so this early in the season, I don't really care how people are playing against you and I just like if I can give recommendations on like a couple of things like fast move timing and switches and stuff like that, I will. Obviously with the legend pose, I've seen your battles multiple times. It's not like I need a ton to discuss here. The only things that I actually want to see in this meta is Steelix and Tentacruel, and it seems like Steelix still has a lot going for it, right? I think that you still have the bulk. I mean, you have everything, right? You still have the bulk. You still have good matchups overall in this. You just only having a 50% chance. But if you think about it, like, yes, you'll probably lose some matchups. Like, I'm not as sold of getting rid of Steelix, of not using Steelix in the Ultra League like I am not using it in the Great League. I think Great League it's just like gone now. There's not much you can like use it for in the Great League. It was already sort of borderline at that in the Great League, and that is where it does matter. The bulk, not having the bulk, it matters. And then with the Ultra League, I don't know if they're going to shield this. I think they just take the one shield advantage and go, okay, what do I know? In Ultra League, I still think there is a point of using Steelix, because even if you get it 50% of the time, right? Again, statistics, it doesn't work. It doesn't work like just it's gonna happen one every two, right? This is same thing with every time if someone talks about the algorithm, it's like how they try and keep you at 50%. It's like, yes, I'm gonna do a whole algorithm. I'm gonna do a banked algorithm video for like the Christmas week. But it's like, yes, let's say there is that the system tries to keep you at 50%, doesn't mean that you are going to end up at 50%, right? I talked about the sort of standard distribution of games where you're just like, you're going to be super hard cannons, you can't win those. You're going to super hard cannon the other team, you're going to win those. And then like the 80% remainder of the game is going to be soft lead loss, even matchup, or soft lead win. And then although the algorithm tries to keep you at 50% based on like just this probability, if you have the skill set, you can definitely finish above 50% and get to legend. Like that's what I'm going to explain in my algorithm video. And it's the same. Oh, I'm a Mewtwo. I love it. And that's the same with Steelix, right? Sure, it's 50%, but again, there's not much you can do from like there's a huge difference between being able to actually do something in matchup versus just it's a probability, 50% chance, right? So sometimes like you start 3 in a row, 4 in a row. Sometimes you'll get 4 in a row. Sometimes you'll get 0 out of 4, right? And that's what can make this, I think it's the inconsistency which makes this a trickier Pokemon to use now, but it's not one that you need to completely shy away from. What's in the back? Giratina? Needing to land a Blizzard is tricky against Giratina. Plus, one Blizzard doesn't take it out, so I think this is probably a loss because they can just very easily just outspam you here. So yeah, so what Steelix is going to come down to is, are you feeling lucky? Okay, landing the Blizzard makes it a lot easier to now just go straight Scald and hope for the best here. I think you're just trying to make the switch clock come up so you can like save as much health on this, get back into your Steelix matchup, try and take it out, try and breaking swipe down your opponent before they trick you out, and it's gonna be close. So yeah, there's gonna be some matchups if you use Steelix where you just like it's gonna play. Yeah, what's my point in all this? My point in all this is there's gonna be some matchups that where you play Steelix, it's gonna be the exact same as you played it last season. There's gonna be some matchups where it's like worse but not terrible, where you're getting the breaking swipe. Like it does show up like 50% of the time. So if you go into matchup, you get it once and then you throw it the other time, you don't get it. And then there's gonna be times you use it where you just throw breaking swipe like 3 times in a matchup and you don't get it. And then that makes it like a much worse Pokemon to use. So from a consistency point, I think where Steelix just falls off this season is the consistency, right? When you're relying on a move like that to change the outcome, like the thing with Scald is, are you relying on the Scald's 50% lowering of the attack to change the outcome of a matchup significantly? I would say no, right? I would say that you still Scald, as I went over the damage per energy, a 50 energy move still hitting at like over with stab on these water Pokemon hitting over 100 damage, right? That is significant. On Steelix, this is a non-stab move, so stab being same type attack bonus. So in Ultra League, it is ranked 69. The breaking swipe is a 35 energy move, non-stab, so it's only 50 damage at a 1.43 damage per energy. So unlike Scald, where it's like Yes, it would be nice if I got the lowering of the attack. It's still hitting at like a super hard rate, and you know that the outcome of that matchup is you're just mostly going for the damage anyways, and the attack lowering is like a bonus. If you're using a non-stab breaking swipe on a Steelix, getting off 50 damage is not going to do much in the Ultra League unless it's doing like super effective against Giratinas or something like that. In a neutral matchup, the breaking swipe is kind of just like whatever. So going with a 1.43 damage per energy, you kind of need that lowering of the attack to make it useful for Steelix. As opposed to like, so 1.43 damage per energy, I just want to actually bring up what it looks like on what dragon would actually have it. Haxorus. Haxorus with it would, oh wait, 20%, right? 60 damage, but that damage per energy jumps up to 1.71. So an extra 10 damage per is not insignificant when you're throwing it like 3-4 times plus a match, right? So that's like already 40 damage, like 40 stab difference there, plus now maybe not getting it as much. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Steelix. I think it's still usable. Just know that there's some match. I think if you get it still 50% of the time or more in a matchup, it's probably still a very, very strong Pokemon, right? If I'm using Steelix and I throw 4 breaking swipes in a matchup and I get the lowering of the attack 2 times, I've got to imagine that it is still strong. It's just the inconsistency, right? If you throw it 3 times and you get it 0, well then you're probably not set up for success there. And then Tentacruel, I really want to get one. I think it is very, very strong in this meta. I think it's basically like Poliwrath is so high up there. I kind of see it just like a Poliwrath, right? You're trading off counter for Poison Jab. Both have play against certain meta here. Both have Scald, and then Blizzard is obviously more of a nuke. So I'd probably use Poliwrath like more of a safe swap slash early on, and then Tentacruel more just trying to nuke stuff with the Blizzard after. But I think it's just like a very spammy, decently hard-hitting, decently bulky Pokemon. So I'm excited to eventually build one up. I was messaging my buddy saying I have dropped like 500,000 to 600,000 dust this meta already. So stay tuned for Skeledirge, probably coming this afternoon. Stay tuned for Galarian Weezing I'm going to try, which I finally built one up. I have a Hunt of Pelipper. I haven't built it up yet. I kind of feel like I want to use it, but geez, I haven't built it up yet. It's going to be like 490,000 dust just to build it up. But the things we do for videos. Anyways, thank you for the submission. I know I didn't actually talk about your battles much, but again, it's still, I think, too early to talk about like the different matchups and like your strengths and weaknesses, especially someone who submitted like, I think this is like the 7th or 8th probably video of your like battles of yours I've analyzed. If we get later in the season, I'll probably do more actual like analysis when you're closer to like 2500, 2750 ELO range. I think that's where I can actually provide more value when your opponents are not staying in with an electric Pokemon on Steelix. But thank you for the submission. Yeah, Steelix Tentacruel, I think Tentacruel has a lot of play in this. Poliwrath, top 10, top 5 meta. Tentacruel, I think, is very, very strong. I'm probably using it as one of the top water or poison Pokemon in this meta, in my opinion. I think it's like, I don't even know where it is on the rankings, but I think it is very, like, I would put it as a top 20 Pokemon. I don't know where it is on the rankings. Let me just actually look it up. Tentacruel is 25. Yeah, that's about where 25 in some of the top meta, like, if you take out the doubles, like Poliwrath is listed twice, Registeel is listed twice, Swampert listed twice. So you take out those 3, suddenly you're up to 22, right? So that, I think that's accurate for Tentacruel. I think it's definitely like a top 20 met Pokemon in this league. Steelix at 69. Again, Steelix at 69 just because you have to try and measure you have to try and take into consideration a 50% attack fall. So basically, if you use Steelix, if you're getting the attack fall 50% of the time, I think around 70 is probably where it is. Again, if you're getting it more than 50% of the time, jump it up in the rankings. If you're getting it less than 50% of the time, it probably drops a bit. So it's just, are you feeling lucky with the breaking swipe? That's what it's coming down to. Anyways, that is it. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for Skeledirge this afternoon, and some more, probably more Ultra League teams. I think people are tired of Retro, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Anyways, that is it. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.